All right, so you know how you see those headlines sometimes and you're just like, whoa, okay, hold on, what?
Oh yeah, absolutely clickbait central.
Yeah, exactly. And so we found one that was pretty intense, and it's from the Ring of Fire YouTube channel, and the title is Crash Response Proves Trump is Insane.
Wow. Okay, so right off the bat, they're not mincing words.
No, not at all. So, in this deep dive, we are going to go through the transcript from that video and really unpack what exactly are they talking about with this crash and what did Trump say and, all that.
Right, because the title itself is making a huge claim, but we need to see, okay, what's the evidence? What are they basing this on?
Exactly. And full disclosure, folks, we're not here to say whether we agree or disagree with this video. It's really about understanding their perspective and the arguments they're putting forward.
We have the transcript right here. We're going to break it down piece by piece, and you'll see what you're saying about Trump's supposed response to this crash and how they interpret it.
Yeah, and it seems like they're tying it to his mental state, which is a pretty serious thing to do.
Oh, absolutely it is. And we're going to look at all of that and see if they offer any other context about the crash itself.
Okay, so let's jump right into the transcript. So, according to the video, Trump's immediate reaction to this crash that happened near Reagan Airport, a really tragic event, was to blame Biden and Biden's initiatives.
Okay, so right away he's pointing the finger. Interesting.
Yeah, and the transcript doesn't actually say which of Biden's initiatives he's supposedly blaming.
Yeah, that's a bit vague. Makes you wonder.
Yeah, but then the video goes on to say that Trump went even further, and this is where it gets really controversial.
Okay, I'm listening.
They claim that Trump started attributing the crash to people with mental disabilities, people with physical disabilities, people that were missing limbs. And get this, he specifically mentioned dwarfism.
Whoa, okay, hold on now. Those are some serious accusations to make.
Yeah, and the video host really emphasizes that quote about dwarfism.
Yeah, I can see why that would stand out. That's a very specific, potentially offensive thing to say, especially in this context.
Right, and so the video host reaction is instant.
What did they say?
They just flat out say, the president of the United States is insane.
Wow, so they're not beating around the bush at all.
Nope. And that kind of sets the tone for the whole video. They're really going hard on this idea that Trump is mentally unfit.
Yeah, that's a big statement to make.
And they don't stop there. They go on to paint this picture okay, imagine if Biden said these things.
Okay, yeah, I'm curious where they're going with this.
So they specifically talk about what if Biden had said something about people missing an arm or, use the phrase little people. They say, wouldn't everyone be freaking out?
Oh, I see. They're trying to point out a perceived double standard.
Exactly. And they even bring up the 25th Amendment.
Right, the one about presidential incapacity.
Yeah, they're basically implying that if Biden had said anything remotely similar, there would be calls to remove him from office.
So they're really hammering home that they see Trump's alleged comments as not only offensive, but like a sign of something seriously wrong.
And it's interesting because they don't just focus on Trump's words. They actually try to give an alternative explanation for why the crash might have happened.
Okay, so they're not just criticizing Trump. They're trying to present a different theory altogether.
Right, and they specifically say diversity, equity, inclusion is not the blame.
Okay, so what are they blaming instead?
This is where it gets a little bit conspiratorial. They say, and I quote, the chaos that Donald Trump and Elon Musk have created in the government in 2 short weeks is to blame.
Whoa. Okay, so now they're bringing Elon Musk into it and talking about chaos in the government. That's a pretty broad claim.
And then they dive into specifics about air traffic control.
Okay, this is getting interesting.
So they claim that on the night of this crash, there was only one air traffic controller on duty, and that this person was responsible for handling both helicopters and airplanes.
That sounds like a lot for one person to handle, especially in such a busy airspace.
And they're implying that this is not normal FAA procedure.
Yeah, usually there would be separate controllers for different types of aircraft.
Right, and the video goes on to say that this understaffing is actually confirmed by an FAA report.
Now, that would be a pretty damning piece of evidence if they actually cite it.
They don't give any specifics about the report, unfortunately.
Okay, so that's something we'd have to look into if we wanted to verify their claim.
Totally, but then they connect this supposed understaffing to a hiring freeze that they say happened during the Trump administration.
I see. They're trying to draw a direct line from Trump to this potential safety issue.
Yeah, they're basically saying that this hiring freeze led to not enough air traffic controllers, which then somehow contributed to the crash.
So like a chain reaction in their view.
And they also mentioned that there were like 2 plane crashes in 1 week on U.S. soil and that this wasn't happening as much before.
Yeah, that's definitely something that would raise eyebrows.
Right, so they're using this as evidence that something is wrong with the aviation system, and they're pointing the finger at Trump and Musk.
Okay, so they're making a lot of connections here, some more explicit than others.
Now, when it comes back to Trump and his mental state, the video host really doesn't hold back.
Oh boy, here we go.
They call him fucking insane. They say he's effing crazy, and they even say that he should be in a fracking psych ward instead of prison.
Wow, okay. That is some strong language.
Yeah, they're clearly very passionate about this, and they see it as a really serious issue.
And that kind of language, it's definitely going to grab attention, but it also might alienate some people who don't share their views.
True. It's very divisive.
And then, of course, like most YouTube videos, it ends with a call to action.
Right. They want people to subscribe to their channel and follow them on social media.
So just to recap this video, makes some pretty bold claims about Donald Trump's response to this plane crash.
They're saying he blamed Biden and his policies and made really offensive comments about people with disabilities.
And their reaction to those alleged statements is to basically call Trump insane and unfit for office.
And on top of that, they're offering their own theory about the crash itself.
Blaming it on chaos created by Trump and Elon Musk, specifically highlighting this alleged understaffing issue with air traffic control.
And they connect that back to Trump with this supposed hiring freeze during his administration.
Yeah, they're really building a case here, even if it's based on some pretty strong assumptions and accusations.
So after diving into this Ring of Fire video and all its claims and opinions, what stands out to you the most?
Well, for me, it's the sheer intensity of their language and how certain they are about their conclusions.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder how much of this is based on verified facts versus, their own interpretation and opinions.
And it's also worth considering the sources they're relying on for their information and how reliable those sources might be.
Absolutely. So much to think about. And we always encourage our listeners to do their own research and come to their own conclusions.
Exactly. Don't just take our word for it or the word of any single source. Look into it yourself and see what you think.
Because at the end of the day, it's about forming your own informed opinion and being able to critically evaluate the information that's out there.
And this video is a great example of why that's so important.
All right, folks, that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.
And until next time, keep those minds sharp and stay curious.